Alright, so moving on. Chapter 1. Prologue has a fairly set template. Like you can adapt to save resources. You don't really have to. You can pretty much do very similar to the same thing every time, and barring getting exploited by Gamble or the Elf Intermage, it's gonna be more or less the same results. I mean, I guess your levels are gonna be different, but generally speaking, you can get through Prologue by following the guide mostly to a T. Starting with Chapter 1, that starts to fall apart a bit. There are usually good openings. Chapter 1 has a fairly good extended set of steps that branches that can get you to a point where you can take on the enemies. Or the last wave of enemies, have them isolated. But you do need to improvise a bit afterward. And the improvisation kind of ramps up as the chapters progress, which is a good portion of why I like Lunatic Plus. It's something that's kind of an ever-evolving animal, so that no playthrough is really the same. I mean, in theory, the random level ups and other Fire Emblems allow the same sort of thing, but I think the impact is a little bit bigger with Lunatic Plus skills. And it's, once again, less irritating than the random crit skills, even though I still have to put up with those too. So, generally speaking, the enemies we're most concerned with is the Archer and the boss. Because the boss with advantage can be a problem. The boss with advantage in Luna Plus, well, that's really gross. The Archer, if he has Luna Plus, is something to be wary of, because you kind of want to be trying to conserve items here too in Chapter 1. Healing unnecessarily can cause other issues to the run down the road. So you want to conserve vulneraries, and you especially want to conserve the elixir. But it's not worth penny pinching too hard if it's going to get, say, Fred killed, which there's times where Fred or Robin might have to draw the Archer off, and if he has Luna Plus, that makes him really dangerous. So it's something you need to make sure you're aware of, and if he does have it, make sure you're healed appropriately. The rest is kind of whatever. Obviously, this starting guy can be a bit of a problem. He has, well, an advantage isn't going to make much of a difference because he'd get an attack on Fred anyway. Luna Plus is kind of bad. It depends on what these enemies have. Both mercenaries don't have Luna Plus, so Fred kind of doesn't care. If they did, it kind of, the math comes down to the wire, potentially. HP plus 5 on this guy is actually kind of advantageous, because this means Fred isn't actually going to kill him. And you wonder, why is that advantageous? Well, let me show you. What we do here is we trade the bronze sword away to Fred. Equip it? Okay. Pair it to Robin. We want Robin to unequip Thunder Tongue, so we don't want her to dual strike here. So Fred's going to attack this guy. It's going to weaken him. And he's not going to face Tank Luna Plus, which is nice. I mean, he's going to actually have relatively good dodge because of the, or not dodge, avoid because of the fort. So there's a reasonable chance Fred won't get hit. I wouldn't count on it, but it's going to happen from time to time. It's always nice when it does. He'll pick up the shiny tile. For people playing just like regular with saves Lunatic Plus, that's kind of a nice 2-in-1 move thing. For me, I usually try to avoid them, but I'm not going to give up a large tactical advantage like that just because there's a shiny square there. What I usually do for my runs is if I get one item, I just pitch it out. Anyway, so this guy's left alive with HP plus 5, which means Chrome with the rapier equipped can transfer Robin. And you're always going to want to transfer Robin here, but in this case the guy's alive. And basically it's a bit of extra experience for Robin. Didn't really get us much for stats, but that's okay. So next, we're going to shift Alyssa down. Now we're not going to shift her down all the way, because that means you'll shift the, I think it was the mercenary. It'll make him move in a certain way. If Alyssa's farther down here, the mercenary might move up, I think, which it would be because he thinks he can trap Alyssa in. That's bad, because then Alyssa probably will actually get trapped in and die. So we just scoot down, second from the bottom of our movement.
Captain Crom!
Now this is a part where strong or very precise mathing comes in. One thing I should point out is that Luna Plus will only reduce your raw defense. Well, I guess your adjusted character defense. It'll reduce that. However, what it will not reduce is terrain bonuses. So when the Wiz add 1 damage reduction, that is 1 flat damage reduction, regardless of Luna Plus. Same for the Fort. 2 flat damage reduction. Doesn't matter if there's Luna Plus, it's still 2. So with that in mind, if Fred has full health, and both mercenaries here and this fighter all have Luna Plus, he can go here with the Silver Lance equipped and make sure to trade the elixir to Fred because he'll make better use of it than Virion. With Virion paired up to him, even if all 3 of those guys have Luna Plus, he will survive with 1 hit point, so long as he started with full health. Which is why you need to be precise about the healing. For Virion's bow, we unequipped it because we don't want him to steal kills. So what we're gonna do here is, and I did not trade the sword back. Normally Fred goes here and trades the sword back, or Robin takes the sword back when she attacks, but that's okay, we have an opportunity to fix that. So we go here, we drop Crom. We do this because it manipulates the enemy into wanting to move lower. Because I think the trap Crom, not crap Trom. It doesn't always work. Usually it'll throw the enemies off on their one. So next we pair Soy to Alyssa. Because we want to go here, separate, and drop her to the right. The reason for that will become clear later. So how one mercenary dies because he's not in the woods. Unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately this one solos, which makes him an easy kill for Robin. So what we want Chrome to do, I like to unequip the rapier until later, but you don't necessarily need to until the time for a decision, and I'll point that out later. So Crom pairs to Robin. Robin moves up, transfers Crom to Sully. Now this is where things get kind of wild with transfer and pair up. You can do some really crazy shenanigans, such as this, where you go up. Okay, we'll make sure to trade the bronze sword. So we need to make sure Robin's fighting with the bronze sword because Thunder uses our precious and we'll have really bad hit against the mercenary. So how we're gonna do, transfer Varian to Lissa, pair up Fred to Robin. So now Fred is safe, and he's got his silver lance equipped, which means if Robin has problems, because I think her hit's still a bit imperfect. Yeah, it's gonna be a 90. No, wait. 127. Never mind, yeah, it's perfect hit. But even if it wasn't perfect hit, Fred would have a chance to dual strike. So, anyway, speaking of shenanigans, you can go. This fighter. What is he doing? He might be out of position, which is what I'm talking about needing to improvise. But anyway, so up to this point, you'll still be doing Lestigard's here, drops Varian. And slowly can go up and drop Crown. Just look how much distance that creates. The enemies are left on the dust. Okay, the fighter moved over. That's fine. So let's see, we've got... We've basically got a pro. So unless Robin dodges. Okay. Well, I'll probably have to show off some of the improvisation after. Next. Now we can do even more shenanigans by transferring Fred to Sully and pairing Robin to Lissa. So now these guys are all stuck in the woods here and you can shift over. In my guide, this is where things kind of split up. There's two variations. The boss might come here, or for no reason whatsoever that I can tell, he'll run down here into this area. And the archer will usually be a little farther up. Basically, depending on where the boss and the archer move, it completely changes the strategy. This is the more common strategy. And that's going to be where we move. Lissa here, we swap to Robin, and we need to bomb her. Especially against Luna Plus. Next we shuffle over Varian. Take Lissa, drop her up. What we want to do here, especially if either of these guys have Luna Plus, Fred needs to get heals. If Robin has 13 speed, she'll end up doubling this guy because we're gonna give her Sully, which will increase her speed by 1. So, depending on how that goes, whether or not Robin gets named can have an influence on how the strategy plays out afterward. Because if Robin can hit 14 speed with Sully, it can be worth it to leave the Bronze Lance equipped as kind of a safety measure. It's not a great safety measure, because if Robin whiffs a Thunder attack, chances are Sully's not really going to make up for it, but she might. But if you have less than 13 speed, Fred can help weaken the boss, bring him into range. But if you have 14 speed after Sully, it's going to leave the boss in a condition where Fred would actually kill him. So if Robin can actually survive the hits or attack without retaliation, that will generally be better, because, I mean, you don't really want to give Fred the boss kill if you can help it. Anyway, so let's see. The way these guys move, sometimes the fighters are overlapping a bit, so you can't do this, but once we get Sully free, and we're gonna put Lance, because we want Fred to be able to strike. Because I think a Thunder and a Lance is usually enough to get Fred within one-shot range of the boss as well. It all depends on your stat rolls too, and since he's been a possum play, we want Fred to be able to pull. So what we can do here is you can equip the Falchion to Crom. And sometimes you need to shift him to the left, depending on how these guys move. Most of the time you can get away with having him here. What that will do is it'll pull the enemies all towards him. It's another one of those baiting things, where the enemy will get trapped in the woods here, and unable to move out for a turn. Whereas Crom, once his next turn comes, you can see he can scoot over and pair up onto Alyssa. So we'll do that here. One thing to, I guess, watch out for, Crom only has 5 block, which is enough to cancel this out, but if these guys have Zeal, which, once again, annoying random crit skills, this guy has Zeal, there's a chance that he'll just run up and explode Crom, which is unfortunate, but it's a necessary risk, because otherwise you give away too much positioning and the enemy is just going to kill you for sure. Okay, the archer ran over. That's different and interesting. I'm not sure about this one. This one might not be salvageable. Actually, hold on. Yeah, because if this guy gets a chance to attack after we fought the chief, someone's gonna die. It's very bad chances here. It's not very good, that's for sure. Trying to think of other cases when the archers moved this far over, and I don't think I can think of any, really. Normally he's up with this group, or at worst, like here or here. I think what's going to have to happen here is a gambit. Seven, 22. That won't be enough for a kill. Thinking if Virion helped with a dual strike would be enough, but it's not. Yeah, we can't even get Fred to try to double because Chrome's only getting 3 speed. Well, so I guess in this case our best chances are basically the gamble. So to give us the best chance of this Fred attacks, weaken him, and leaves the woods open, so that I don't know. Yeah, because he has a better chance of missing from there. So yeah, basically the idea here is if Robin survives, she's gonna get a heal. Man, how did it come down to this? Can't believe I'm not getting hit by 57. This is definitely a first. I suppose we could have swapped over to Sully. Finished with her. Maybe? Let's see. No, Sully would have only had 7 damage if we traded her the bronze sword. Actually, 6 6 damage. Yeah, that wouldn't have worked at all. Does it happen? It does. Alright, so that's not something you should ever be hoping on. Sometimes weird crap happens, so you do have to gamble. It's not really a great situation. So yeah, this is where we have to improvise. Now stuff's gonna be kind of all over the place. Fortunately, because we got that dodge, we can actually take advantage of it. We can leave her a Thunder, because this guy's body blocked by Fred. Lester can safely go up here and transfer over Crom, which should allow him to hurt a double, yeah. So I give her 16, which is overkill to double the Archer, which gives us a pretty open chance to clean him up. So yeah, we're gonna transfer, heal. Let's see. So now we can survive for attacker level 1, so do that, finish him off. That's more experience in Robin's pocket. Now this is kind of odd. We do want to separate if we can, just because it gives characters more mobility. Now, Varian, if you've taken any time to look at his stats are kind of bad. The only thing he really has going for him is he has 2 range, when basically no one other than Robin does. And it's accurate 2 range of that, so he can soften things up or get safe pickoffs. But generally speaking, he's not really useful for more than that, so we don't want to give him too much experience. However, his stats are something that also works against the AI. Now, the reason I say this is because a lot of enemies are just going to look at him and think, oh, I can one-round him. These guys can't yet, but they're going to look at him and go, well, we can take off most of his health. So if you have Varian alone, see, this guy decided to run off towards him. If Robin wasn't hurting so badly, these guys probably would have run off too, but these guys are hungry for Robin blood, so fortunately there's going to be some kiting involved. Well, once it gets Robin back up to strength. However, you can do shenanigans like putting Varian at the edge of this guy's range. And Fred on the force here. Oh, that guy's actually... Hammer guy's going for Fred. That's kind of interesting. Cancer for that food. We could do here. Yeah, we can. I don't want to use more thunder, but this is kind of the safest way to do it. So we did this to kill him. And we'll still be in range of this guy, so we can lure him out. If we whiff a 93 and Crom doesn't dual strike, we can have Sully take him. And finish the job. But we don't need to. So, put in here. Straight up cross sword. Heal her again. So now Viren can pair up to Fred, which puts them way out of range of this guy. Now he's kind of probably in a bad position. He's just never gonna catch up. Or his friend could die and then, well, basically, let's see, 20 attacked, 19 attack after the woods. So if we get a heal, yeah, so heal with what's that? We just attack with bronze sword. Didn't even need to heal. Finish him off. And here we're hitting level 10, which is kind of rare. That's basically, in this case, thanks to the HP plus 5 guy. Also because we got the archer. Robin doesn't always get the archer. Normally there's a little more leeway, but since we crit that barbarian in prologue, it skews things a little bit. So it's a legitimate surprise that we still hit level 10, because normally it's like 9 and 70, 9 and 80. Yeah, improvisation can get a little dicey, and sometimes you get weird movements like that. I still don't understand why that archer was so far over. But yeah, you don't want to gamble on dodging like that. So if Robin could have been safely out of range of the archer, which is normally what happens, Alyssa with Crom on her can safely heal Robin and tank a hit from the archer and be okay. I believe even with base stats, she just has enough, even against Luna Plus, I want to say. So she can heal Robin to put Robin in range of surviving a hit for the boss, and Fred weakens the boss, Robin finishes the boss off while being out of range of the archer. Or if the boss doesn't have Vantage, you can just plain get the pick off and then heal Robin. Because you can weaken with Fred and then Robin can get the kill shot in without having to worry about Vantage. Unfortunately, things were very strange there.